at this point, I just want to say I think I'm the only person in Nigeria that has this book. Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Uche, and if this is your first time here, you're highly welcome. Please do well to click on the subscribe button below so you get notified whenever I post a new video. So what I do here is I review and give recommendations on African literature. So books written by African authors and Black authors, I give reviews and recommendations here. So you do not want to miss out on this. So guys, news updates. This is my first sit down book review video since 2022. The last time I sat down and turn on my camera to review any book was in 2022, and even those videos I did in the later part of 2022, they are not up yet. So 2023 was a whole lot. It was such a year, but I had new year resolutions for this 2024, and I am pumped to start giving you reviews, like guys. So the book I'm going to be reviewing in this video is this beautiful, wonderful masterpiece. So this book is called Sons of the East by Ifoma Chinwuba. I pray to God that this book is in focus and you can actually see it. So this is what the back cover looks like, and this is the front cover. You see this front cover? It was what I saw on Instagram, and I just knew that I had to get my hands on this book, especially when I read the synopsis. I knew that this book was calling out to me to read, and I started following it up. So there's this page I follow on Instagram. It's a publishing house, Griot's Lounge, and sometime in March 2023, they made a post about this book, and they were telling us to expect it. It was coming in fall or winter period. Mm. So I went on Goodreads with the hopes of putting it on my TBR, just because I'm almost always on Goodreads, checking out new books and adding books to my already large pile of books. So I went there. I didn't see the book on Goodreads. I went back to the comment section. Please, you people should put it on Goodreads so I will not forget. And I went back to Goodreads and I saw that they had added this book to Goodreads. I put it on my TBR, and I was expectant. I was waiting for it to be released so that I can get my hands on it. But unfortunately, when the book was released in November 26, 2023, I checked the bookstores here in Nigeria, Robin Heights, Wida, all the bookstores, and I didn't see the book in any Nigerian bookstore. And I don't know if I would say I was heartbroken, because I had an inkling of what to expect in this book, but I didn't have this book experience then, so I didn't know if it was worth it. But I knew I wanted to get this book. So, guys, at this point, I just want to say I think I'm the only person in Nigeria that has this book. Please, if you want to prove me wrong, please show us pictures with your own copy, because I have scoured the internet and I'm yet to see any bookstagrammer or any Nigerian bookstagrammer showcasing this book. And bookstagram, book talk, booktube, book Twitter, book X. If you do not have this book, you're sleeping on a long thing. I'm calling you out at this point. If you do not have this book, don't worry. Before this video comes up, there's another video where I did a reading vlog of this book, and you will see the different emotions that this book racked up in me. So guys, cheers to me being the only person that has this book in Nigeria, or probably in Africa, who knows. Please prove me wrong. Please prove me wrong. No need for argument. Prove me wrong. So I'm going to give you a short story. Short story on how I got this book. It just happened that at the point where I saw that okay, none of the Nigerian bookstores had this book available. I was lucky enough. I have friends in the diaspora. I have friends in Canada. So, and yes, the publishing house is based in Canada. So I asked one of them that was coming back to Nigeria to please get this book for me. I didn't want it to be a bother. I was like, should I ask? Should I not ask? But you know how they say it. A closed mouth is a closed destiny. So I opened my mouth and I asked, and I didn't even pay a dime. Shishi, I did not pay. All expense covered. So I got this book as a gift. Can you imagine my luck? Yes. So today is Sunday. This is Sunday afternoon, and it's 1 o'clock already. So I started reading this book yesterday. The whole of my Saturday, that was yesterday, I spent reading this book. So I started reading around 7:36 a.m. and I read till about 8 a.m. and then I stopped. I went to do other things. Then I resumed by 3:11 and eventually I completed this book by 12:39 a.m. So all in all, I would say it takes you about 11 to 12 hours going by my pace. I'm not extremely fast. I think I'm just average. So sometimes I could be slow, sometimes I could be fast. So averagely, I think it takes about 12 hours to complete this book. It has such short chapters. It has 61 chapters in all with an epilogue. Apart from the acknowledgement page, the main story has 379 pages and that's the epilogue. So, guys, let's go into this book. So, just as the title says, Sons of the East. When I came across this book title, I read the synopsis, I knew that the characters in the book are majorly going to be Easterners. So, one thing is, I'm from the East, I'm from Anambra State. I'm from Anam. So the riverine area in Anambra State, that's where I'm from. Any of my brothers and sisters here, say hi. So yes, I felt like this book was going to resonate with me, and yes, it did. So see, from the dedication page, I knew that I was about to have a whole new experience. So the thing is, Igbo people are proud. I'm not saying this in a bad way, but they take pride in their culture. I am Igbo. So of course I know like one of the best things that has ever happened to me is being an Igbo girl. Yes. So from the dedication page it says to Nnewi, revered father, Oguta, nourishing mother, Onichado Nidu, illustrious husband. So this author dedicates this book to her father, her mother, and her husband. So I'm thinking her father is from Anambra, Nnewi is in Anambra, Oguta is in Imo State, then Onitsha of course is in Anambra. So and this book is set in both Lagos and Anambra State. We get introduced to Jasper Okonkwo. Jasper Okonkwo just got his freedom as an Nwa boy. We all know that Igbo apprenticeship is part of the Igbo culture. It has been in existence since time immemorial. If you see all these major businessmen that we have here in Nigeria, majority of them all started as Nwa boys, apart from those that came into money. And even if you even come into money, you still need to learn the trade for you to run the trade, yeah? So we see Jasper doing his freedom as an Nwa boy. So he had spent what 7 years, and yes, so the apprenticeship system ranges from 5 years to 8 years. It just depends on your agreement with your master. Yes. So for those of you who have seen this movie Afamefuna, an Nwa boy story, it was released in I think November December 2023. What Afamefuna and Nwa boy story didn't have time, because of course it's video content, what he didn't have time to tell you in the movie, this book spells out everything. So the trade that Jasper Okonkwo learned was in motor parts. So we all know that motor parts dealers, like I feel somehow, I feel like that's the oil money because I'm yet to see any motor parts dealer that can't feed his family. So let me put it at that. I'm not going to say, oh, extremely wealthy. So it's actually a very lucrative business. So once Jasper gets settled by his boss, the next thing on his mind is for him to settle down, get married, start his business, grow his family. As he's growing his family, he's growing his business too because he plans to actually start up in Lagos. Idumota, to be precise, for all Lagosians that are here, you all know Idumota, you know Idumota markets in Lagos Island. So of course we all know them. If you're a Lagosian and you haven't been there, I don't know what you're doing in Lagos, but I feel everybody has been to Idumota. So yes, he meets Amata in a wedding ceremony, and Amata is a graduate and a lawyer at that. Within a year, they get married, and Amata is from a wealthy family, and she's described as a beautiful woman. So before then, Jasper has two brothers. He has an older brother and he has a younger brother. His older brother, very wealthy, Echezona, or Zona for short. Then his younger brother, Rapu. At the start of this story, he was about to conclude his apprenticeship. So all three brothers all went through the apprenticeship system, and they all made it from there, and they got settled, and they set up from there. But the thing is, where the envy came in was Jasper is not particularly from a wealthy family. Okay, his father was wealthy, but things happened and they had to struggle. Their mom was raising them and stuff, but they are okay now, they're comfortable now. But Amata is from a wealthy family. So what she got settled with as a dowry, it was the envy of all. And that was where Jasper's older brother and even his younger brother, they started getting jealous. This spirit of covetousness. I feel, in fact, it's just inherent in that Okonkwo family. I think the only person that doesn't have that spirit of covetousness is just Jasper. But his older brother and his younger brother, but especially his older brother was just beefing him. Like, you have your own wife, you have children, you're wealthy, you're a billionaire. Why are you jealous? One of the major themes in this book again is covetousness. But the first theme in this book is the nkuchi or ikuchi. What nkuchi or ikuchi means is to cover. So it's an Igbo word, to cover. And this is usually seen where a man dies and his widow that is left behind has to choose one of her late husband's kinsmen to provide for her, to protect her. It is believed in Igbo culture that it's not one person that marries a woman, so it's the whole family. When you're marrying a man, you're not just marrying him, you're marrying his whole family as well. So it is seen that the bride price that is paid on your head, it is a general contribution by your husband and his kinsmen. So even if your husband dies, it is expected that, oh, you're being passed to someone else. So for readers who are familiar with joys of motherhood, this culture is not a new thing to you. You saw how it panned out, even with Chief Moko Chabadi, Nwego's husband, how they had to take over the other wives, and so it's not a new thing to you. Welcome to Igbo culture. So yes, going on with the story of Jasper and Amata. When they got married, you know how it is with married couple. It is expected that, oh, once you get married, you consummate your marriage on the wedding night immediately. So that was not their case. Even when they traveled to Lagos, and what Jasper gave as his reason for not wanting to touch his wife was that he wanted her to bleed in his house first so that he can be sure that she was not carrying another man's child. But Amata has this issue of amenorrhea. Yes, her monthly flow is irregular, so she could go months without bleeding, and this also happened to her in her husband's house. So she went for 12 months without bleeding, and I'm thinking 12 months. The normal gestation period for a human is 9 months now. Nah, focus on your wife now. What are you saying? So no matter what she tried, her husband was not going. Even if she doused herself in whatever perfume, like the husband was not beefing now. Everything was okay. They had peace on the home front. She was accompanying him to his business in Idumota. See, marry good wife. Amata was a wonderful asset to her husband Jasper. She was even the one that even introduced, selling from the home front, delivery, and so I was just reading about her contribution to her husband's business. It was just wonderful to read. But the thing was, they were yet to consummate their marriage. 12 months had passed. So she had gone to the hospital and she had had an encounter with a quack doctor who I'm not sure what he set up in. I don't even know his shop that he had. It wasn't a clinic that he was operating there, a shop that he had. So before she finally got referred to a good gynecologist by her sister-in-law, and gave her drugs and everything while we're expecting her period. So as an Igbo woman, it's not just enough for you to be married. You could get pressured to get married, in your 20s. Everybody is looking at you. Because in my own side, then, not now, things have changed now. Of course, we're mepaganya. The world has opened eyes. Then people get married very early. My own mom got married at the age of what, 19? I wonder if I got married when 18. So my mom got married very early, and it's common then. It's just now that civilization has come in. You can stay to your 20s, your late 20s, your 30s. Just depends on when you're ready, and depends on when your husband comes to carry you. Yeah. So it's not just enough as an Igbo woman to get married. No, that's not a problem. The problem will come when you're yet to produce a child. That's where the problem will come. So it's okay if you give birth to, oh, maybe a female child, the first one. Okay, oh, Amutagonwa, she has given birth. That's not a problem. You give birth to the first one, you give birth to the second one. But everybody is looking at you and waiting. Your kinsmen, your kinswomen, your village people, your umunna, umada, everybody, they're looking at you. Okay, you're giving birth to girls. Oh yeah, when are you going to produce the son? Even if it's one that you're going to give birth to, just produce it. Because if you give birth to a son, it just solidifies your position in your husband's home. Then if you now give birth to two boys, stainless, you are not going anywhere. You're seen as a proper wife. But a wife with just that's just giving birth to girls, yes, every child comes from God. But in Igbo land, you are accorded more respect when you have male children. And this is the dilemma that we see with Amata's sister-in-law, Charity. So I really like Charity. I didn't think I was going to like the character Charity because I don't like her husband. So Charity is Echozona, or Zona's wife, and Zona is Jasper's older brother. So Zona is the one that is jealous and would do anything to jeopardize his younger brother just because of jealousy. So Zona and Charity, they are married. He's a billionaire, and she keeps giving birth to girls, even up to the fifth pregnancy. And at a point, Zona had to go outside. He had a mistress. The mistress was living a very good life courtesy of someone else's husband, and she was even pregnant at a point. And he didn't stop at just this mistress Helen. He went further to he had another mistress, a Yoruba mistress, who eventually gave birth to a child for him. I'm not going to disclose the gender. Read the book first. So yes, and we see that because of this desperation to give birth to um, a male child, Zona being the first son in the Okonkwo family, nobody put that mandate on his head that he's supposed to produce the first grandson. But because he carried the first son crown on his head, because he wanted to die there, he pressured himself. He put it to himself that that he must produce the first grandson because he didn't want his younger brother Jasper to produce the first grandson. And luckily for Amata, she starts bleeding and her husband gets to consummate the marriage, even though where they consummated the marriage, very it was very awkward because I'm not going to say it. I'm not going to say it, but it was actually very awkward. And luckily for her, after about close to 2 years of marriage, she gives birth. Amata puts to bed. And the wonderful thing about it? She gave birth to twin boys. At that point in this book, Obayaradi, hey, things fell apart. Zona, Zona wanted to kill himself just because his younger brother had been able to do what he and his wife couldn't do. And with this desperation, with the troubles that he was facing in the home front, just because of his desperation, he succeeded in sending his wife packing from Lagos down to the village. And one thing that Charity did that I really commend her for, even though it's not easy, she didn't go back to her parents' house. Her husband expected her to go back to her parents' house, but she said no. She was fair. She stood on business. She went back to her husband's house with her four children. Then she had four girls. She went back to her husband's house with her four girls, and she started training them there. And it's just the whole roller coaster. So I've talked about the Nkuchi and Ikuchi tradition. So regarding that tradition, I've seen it play out in classic books. I was thinking that this book was a classic one, but no, it's not a classic. No, it's not a classic literature. It's actually contemporary because it's set in modern day Nigeria. But what might make it feel like it is classic is the cultures, the customs, and tradition that is said to be practiced in the old times. It is inherent here, and I do not know if this culture is being practiced now, this Nkuchi culture. I don't know, but but there's something where, for instance, if you're married into an Igbo family now, it's not just your own husband that you call your husband. Of course, the only person you're performing conjugal rights and duties with is your husband, not your husband's brothers or anything. But in greeting, in referring to them, you refer to them, oh, my husband. And your husband's brothers' wives are referred to as, you call them your unyedi, wives of your husband. So that's just by the way. But one of the cultures that is not mentioned here, but I feel like it has transferred from the olden times and to the new times now, although it's not so rampant, but I have witnessed it, I've seen it, is where if you get pregnant out of wedlock, your parents have the right to ship you off to an older man, someone who maybe his teeth has even fallen off self. You ship you to him so that your child doesn't end up being a bastard, and you know the older man or the old man takes responsibility of your child, gives your child a name and everything. And so there's something that was a bone of contention among the characters in this book. So when the Nkuchi or Ikuchi takes place and the widow finally chooses someone, her husband's kinsman or just someone to cover her, to provide for her and everything, the children that she bets for this new man, for this new person other than our original husband, they are not to be referred to as his children. They will still be for a late husband. So this brings me to something that I have seen, I have heard so many times in my own village. See, if as a woman, maybe you and your husband, you could have issues and you go and your bride price is not returned. Bride price is very important in Igbo land. Bride price is so important. Bride price can be the start and the end of things. Once a bride price is paid on the woman, yes, she becomes the man's wife. Once a bride price is returned, it signifies the end of that union. So if as a man and a woman they are separated, the bride price is not returned, they are saying they are divorced, maybe they went to court to go and divorce and everything, but you did not return the bride price, any child in my own side any child that the woman gives birth to in that period of separation, whether it's for the husband or abi it's not for the, even if it's for another man, it is automatically regarded as her husband's own because the bride price has not been returned. So even if she has given birth to three other children for other men, then you now eventually return the bride price to say, I'm not doing again. No, those three children, they are said to be yours. But it's open to dispute. But what culture, what tradition just recognizes is that those children are yours. this video is already taking so long, but I'm just so excited about this book. So there are other themes that are raised here and there in this book. Then virginity, the issue of virginity. So for Amata, her father had promised her and her younger sister that, oh, okay, if they get married as virgins, that he was going to give them a chip. It is just a reflection of our old culture where if a man finds his wife as a virgin, he goes back to his in-laws place with maybe a full keg of palm wine, yams and all these things just to appreciate them for giving him a virgin. Oh. But if he finds out that his wife is not a virgin, he will return um a half keg of palm wine just to show that, oh, this your daughter is not complete. So this was the culture that was practiced in the olden days. And if your husband comes to your family with half keg of palm wine, I don't know the disgrace that is higher than that one. I feel this thing with Amata and her father Onwa is a reflection of the old Igbo tradition, just with a little twist here and there. And one of the major things in this book is envy, covetousness, jealousy, all packed in one. And we see how this influences the trajectory of this story, and we see where it actually ends up, it leads everyone. We see sibling rivalry, and I mean, it's still linked, it's still closely following the envy, covetousness, then the boy system. See, there are so many things that we've heard. We've heard stories. I cannot begin to count the number of stories that I've heard regarding this boy apprenticeship system. So where there's a good side, there's a bad side. Of course, in Jasper's case, Jasper was lucky enough. But there are some people who you would be an apprentice for, and when it's almost time for them to settle you, they might just, if for those evil bosses, they might just bring up one story and say, oh, maybe you stole from them, something, something, and that is ended. What they are supposed to free you with, because once you do your freedom, your guy is mandated to settle you with a certain amount of money, set up shop for you, even stock the shop as well. So it's really something that is profitable given the number of years that you put in to learn the trade. But some evil bosses, once it's almost time for it, if they don't want to settle you and do all those things, they'll just pursue you and say, oh, you did one thing and everything, and give you a bad name at that, and you just see that those years are wasted. You have to go and start your life from the beginning again. And there are some evil nwa boys too, as they are evil masters, they are evil nwa boys too, those ones who will steal from their masters. And some parents, I feel they are even compliant in these atrocities that some of these nwa boys, the devilish ones, do. Because how is it that nwa gị na-agba boy, your child is an apprentice and is building a house for you, he's buying you cars and everything, and you did not ask, oh, okay, oh, where are you getting this money from? Oh, because obviously he's stealing from his boss. And I've heard cases of some of these Unwa boys. I've heard of two, like in real life, where some of these Unwa boys, they go to patronize brothels, and we see an example in this book. Rapu, the younger brother of Jasper, because he too is a womanizer. So he had his own business. He had his own boy too, and both of them, they jammed at a brothel. You can imagine. It's the audacity for me. In a bar boy, in a chukwan wine. You're an apprentice and you're pursuing woman. Like how? As an apprentice, you're supposed, nothing concern you with woman. Don't focus on what you're there for. But some of them, will they listen? No, they will not listen. In fact, one thing that this author um talked about in this book that made me say, this woman really, really did her homework. She did her research when it came to writing this book, was how she explained the motor parts business. I mean, at this point, I'm tempted to ask, is it that her husband was a motor parts dealer and she was following him to the market? Because everything, she explained everything so well. In fact, if you do not know anything about motor parts business, once you read this book, you have an idea. You know what this motor parts business is all about. Or what is a book written about Easterners, about Igbo people without land disputes? You see that land disputes, aye, Igbo people and land disputes, 5 and 6. 5 and 6, you see brother killing brother. When it comes to land disputes, Adamawani, you don't know who is your brother just because of land that when you die, they'll bury you in the land. You're not going to go to the next realm with the land. So, like, what's the issue? We see the issue of the indigenous people of Biafra, IPOB, and since the Nigerian Civil War that took place within 1967 and 1970, I don't think things have really been the same. And why that war broke out in the first place was because of the marginalization of Igbo people. And yes, the war is over, it's been years. But the thing is, I feel like there's still a Cold War. And the issues that were raised then in 1960s, it's it's not been solved. It's not been solved. The last election that occurred in 2023, we still saw the bigotry, we still saw the tribalism, we still saw the hate. And the question is, which way Nigeria? It's true that not every Igbo man or woman is a member of the IPOB. And it's just crazy that, with the issue of Operation Python dance, some time ago, I don't know if it was 2017 or so, in fact, here in this book, and even in real life, you are running from two things as an Igbo person. There's IPOB on this hand, then there is SARS, Okuzu SARS. Do you see that SARS at Okuzu? I don't know if they are still functional, but they did a whole lot. You hear of people disappearing, people being taken to concentration camps. The one that is even the most painful is innocent people, people that don't even know anything, people that are just going about their business, they are being detained, and before you know, you go to one river, I don't know if it's Oji River or Kuzi River, you just go there and go and pick bodies. You see, it's so crazy. But one of the things that I really loved, and if you're seeing the events that happened in 2023 December, you see this Akulono. Since the war, they've been sounding it in everybody's ears. You cannot say, as an Igbo man, you're building maybe a house or you're getting properties in another man's land while in your own village there's nothing like that. So if you see any Igbo man that is successful in anywhere other than the east, that has properties and everything, just go and check what he has in his village. Yeah, go and check. He sure has a bigger one in his village. So yes, this Akulono, I just loved as the author was able to jam it there. So Akulono, it just means let your wealth reach home. So for everything that you have in another man's land also, let it be that you have double in your own hometown, so that we do not pray for war. God forbid that the events of 1967 to 1970 will happen again. But we don't know. Nobody knows tomorrow. Because after the war, ah, Igbo people, we saw a lot too. We might not talk about it so much, but I wasn't born then, but a lot was seen because people that had properties in other places apart from the east, when they came back, they found new owners there. Imagine the house that you suffered to build, business that you suffered to build after the war. You're coming back and someone is saying that, Shebi, you say you want to go and you want to have your own country, so this one is no longer for you and everything. And you know how Igbo people had to start small. That is why, when you see Igbo people, gyrating, having pride in themselves, in their oneness and everything. Please, just leave them. Just leave them. Our ancestors saw a lot. So please, just leave us. Just have fun. When they sing, give me a chance, anochikwa m ụzọ. Anochikwa na onye ọbụla ụzọ. Just leave them. Let them do their thing. Let them do their thing. They've been through a lot. Our ancestors have been through a lot. So please, just come out in 1 minute of ego. Let somebody just drink water and drop cup. So from all I've seen, I know I've been mentioning a whole lot about Igbo. The title of the book is Sons of the East. See, this book is set in Lagos. So I don't want you feeling like, oh, okay, if I'm not an Igbo person, I'll not read this book. Come on, come on, come on. No knowledge is a waste. And this book is set in Lagos as well. So things about Lagos, Yoruba people, and come on. So it's a whole reading experience. Seeing that when I started this book, I was so excited. I enjoyed everything. So the kind of thing that this book just did to me was I do not have the luxury of time. I actually work a corporate job, and so I really do not have the luxury of time to read as much as I want. So this Saturday that I said, oh, let me use it to read this book, I had to, plan myself very well because I didn't want a situation whereby I'll just read half. Like the book is that interesting, it's that lovely that I want to spend time and mull over the words and just, take my time and just enter the book and everything. But because I don't have the luxury of time, I have to just know that, hey, madam, you have to finish this book ASAP. And this book is such an experience. I might not have been able to touch all the areas of this book, and I don't need to do that. Please go and buy a copy of this book. No, this is not a paid ad, but of course you know me. Anytime I see something that is good, I will share it with everyone here. So I feel like this book should be introduced into the Nigerian syllabus. I mean, literature students that are writing JAM or in secondary school, people will have a swell time. Imagine that this book is added to your syllabus. See, don't mind the size of this book. The chapters are very short, very easy to read. Imagine as a literature student, you are told to bring out the themes in this book. There will not be a lack of things to write about. You have a lot. Imagine when they are telling you to bring 5 things. There are 10! Over 10 things in this book alone. So this book is wonderful, and this is an appeal to Nigerian bookstores. Biko, please, please, if people will collaborate with Glorious Lounge, so that this book can be shipped to Nigeria, can be shipped to Africa. I feel like everybody deserves to own this book. I got lucky, thanks to God, thanks to the wonderful friends that I have. I got lucky to get a copy of this book, and please, I don't want to be the only one that has this book. I'm telling you, take it from me. I will not come and lie to you. Take it from me. This book is worth it. It's a reading experience that you want to experience. I don't know what else to say. You can imagine this book had me crying at 12 what? 12:39 a.m. Imagine. I was crying. I did not expect to cry, but I just could not control myself when the book ended. This book, technically, is a tragic comedy, yeah, but I will feel like the comic part is is a consolation. It is a tragedy. You are expecting it, but at the beginning, the author has told you that okay, this is what is happening, oh, but you get carried away. And see, I know they'll be talking about book husbands and everything. Jasper is definitely a book husband. Jasper is a book husband, and I just love the communication he has with his wife, especially when Amata told him that, oh, you don't need to say I love you or anything. And he said, okay. So maybe he's shy. Rather than say I love you, we just say 1, 3, 4. That's so cute. Oh my god. That's so cute. So guys, I think that's all I have to say about this book. In fact, 5/5. Like it is everything. I wish I can go back in time and start reading this book from the beginning, like especially from the first time I held it in my hands. This book is definitely worth reading. I've said so much about it. Just look at the book cover. Guys, come on. Bookstores in Nigeria, please, oh, bikonu, please, 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 please. There's a new book in town. Please. This book was released in November 2023. Please ship it. You will sell out. Just few snapshots I've taken. I have people saying, oh, okay, where can I get this book? And what can I tell them? People here in Nigeria, how many people am I going to lend the book to? I don't want this book to tear because it seems like I'm the only person that has this copy in Nigeria. So please, bookstores, ship it to Nigeria. Let it be available in every bookstore. And so, guys, that is it on this book review. It's a very long video, and if you have watched to this point, you're the real MVP. I won for 3. So, guys, I'll see you in subsequent videos. have a wonderful time. Let me know what you think about this review in the comment section below. If you have any books you want me to read, let me know. And please don't forget, I'm doing around Africa in books. So I'll be posting videos in books from each African country in the continent. So stay tuned, click on the like button, share this video. I'll see you in my very next video. Bye guys.